Get ready, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for kickoffs and kick-ons.
I reckon you're going under. I got in his head, he's over.
Yeah, he's
you're
definitely
going
over.
way too
Over.
thirsty.
Yeah.
Fuck. Greedy.
I swear I was 4.5 when we were in Dublin,
Nah.
Northern Hemisphere. 2.5.
Yeah, I think altitude makes a difference.
5, 4, 3, 2.
But then remember, you got to give me a raw based on how you think the Lions' performance was. Okay. That's better than last week.
It's a horrible line, let's be honest.
As in,
My raw.
it's not bad.
You got some time to work on it.
Yeah, I do.
Just sound very down on yourself and your line. I thought it
Yeah,
was
well,
pretty good.
you know, they were impressive, and I should have given an impressive raw.
Terrific. Yes, g'day. Welcome to KOKO. Kickoffs and kick-ons. Your best and only place to get all your Lions information. We have complete exclusivity over everything Lions. Nobody else. Is that right? Or are other people talking about it?
I
or-
think other people may
Oh, are they?
whisper.
We didn't get that deal
whispering
done.
about it.
Okay. Yes, and we are proudly brought to you by Guinness, the official beer of the British and Irish Lions. And as we love to say here on the show, gents, 'tis a lovely sport for a Guinness.
It is.
And you're about to have yours in the perfect pour, but I've already poured mine. I've had a couple of sips on the way, and it's fantastic.
Couple of sips. You overshot it.
Oh, I did indeed. Now, those mighty apex predators have landed on our shores, and didn't they get their pack hunting, purring against the mighty Western Force? Talk about hitting the ground running. With their very first possession on Antipodean soil, Hooker Dan Sheehan crossed the stripe. A dominant display, I think we would all agree, and one that we will take a very good look at in the pod. Other rugby stuff to talk about. Barbarians, they took on South Africa. The question we're going to ask, was it played in the true spirit of the Barbarian way? I'll ask you guys. You've all been there. You've all done it. Top 14 final, Bordeaux versus Toulouse. Swoople, did your men get the double? Don't answer it. We'll get into it in the pod. Don't answer it. It's a cliffhanger. Finally, the mighty Wallabies. They are gearing up to take on Fiji up there in Newcastle next Sunday. Sunday afternoon footy. Is there anything better?
In Newcastle.
In Newcastle, up there, mate.
North Central Coast.
North Central Coast.
That's
yeah.
right.
Central Coast Marathon Stadium. It will be absolutely throbbing there on Sunday. Now, let's get into this wonderful show. As always, I'd like to welcome these three Wallaby legends.
What do you got for us, Prof?
Adam Ashley, Cooper Macchiato, and Drew Mitchell. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, you wanted something more than...
Yeah.
Oh,
We'll just make it up.
okay. Three men that excelled for country, for the code, and changed rugby as a sport.
Yeah, it's quite broad, but individual.
Individual. Swoop, you were the Swiss Army knife of the Australian rugby
I'll
system.
take that. Thank you very much.
Where you know, one day you're a toothpick on the wing, the next day you're a pair of scissors back there at fullback for North. That's what we realised. Drew Mitchell, the Dimple King. Women swooned. Often they'd have to.
You said that in past tense.
Women continue to swoon, and I know that for many years they couldn't have them in the first 15 rows because you would just impregnate them as you ran past them. And Matthew Giddo, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. You know, you are all things to all men ever. One of the all-time greatest rugby union players. I believe you got named in the top 50 rugby union players of all time recently. Sure, it was a list that I did, but that doesn't matter.
Or my mum. One
Or
of
your
you
mum.
two.
One of the two, one of our all-time greats. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. Such a privilege for me to see.
Thanks for having us, Prof.
Prof.
Yeah,
Yeah.
appreciate
Now,
it, mate.
on that, we have actually been sent these glasses from Guinness. I don't know if you realise this, but you all have your individual glasses now, and they have very kindly, if you take a look there, it's got the number
you're
that you
kidding.
debuted, your Wallaby number. So if we can have a look there first and foremost at Drew, you are
Biv 799.
Swoop. You are.
You just had to go before me. Didn't you? Swoop 800.
Have you got yours yet, or is yours back down here in
No, it's
Sydney?
down here.
Good.
It's in here.
I reckon mine would be in Sydney, but yeah, I'm 780. It used to be when we were in the Wallabies, you used to get all your tour kit with your number on it. Now budget cuts and everyone just gets pretty much the same kit. It's pretty ordinary.
Yeah, right. Well, that's not good. And then
What
I
did you
am.
get?
I got Prof DNP. Stands for did not play. Not for lack of trying. Righto, gents. Very excited to be here. The Lions tour has officially kicked off.
Yeah, it's here.
One of us went to watch that mighty game in Perth. Perhaps you could start us with your KOKO Learnings. Did you learn anything over there?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think it's just one of those things. We've been waiting for a long time for this tour, and then all of a sudden now it's here. It's kicked off. And, yeah, I flew over on the weekend, on Friday morning, flew over to Perth. Was staying with Kurtley and his wife Maddie and the kids. And unfortunately for Kurtley, he pinged his hammy early in the week, nothing too serious. So, you know, wasn't able to watch him play, but, you know, I guess the silver lining, we got to spend a bit more time together over the weekend. But, you know what I learned is that, what was it? 500,000 people you kept saying coming over?
At least.
They haven't arrived yet. They haven't arrived yet. I mean, there was a good crowd, 46,500 at Optus Stadium, but I don't think too many of them were from the Lions Travel and, you know, those big tour groups, because I think as the tour progresses and we get closer to the test matches, the atmosphere will start to lift. There wasn't one single Lions, like not one.
Really?
Throughout the whole game.
Well, why didn't
there was
you
no singing. There was
why
no
didn't
chanting.
you start it?
Well, because I was going for the Force.
Oh,
Yeah.
how did that go?
Yeah. Didn't go well. Yeah, I just think, yeah, I think my learning is that a lot of people are probably just going to do the East Coast, and they're all about to arrive.
It's a long tour,
Mm.
you know, if you do the whole lot. And is the pound strong against the Ollies?
I think
at
it
the moment.
is.
It's pretty strong, but
Yeah.
I guess it's a long time, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
You also, there was somebody else that you caught up with that you were telling me pre-show that you had a lovely chat to.
Yeah, I mean, caught up with a few people over the weekend, but had a good chat with Johnny Sexton. He was at a lunch. He spoke at a lunch, very good little one-on-one with Nick McCardle actually there. It just sort of spoke about how weird it is for him now being on the coach's side to previous tours where he's been playing, but he's open to maybe featuring on the pod throughout the course of the tour.
Did you speak about your handshake?
Oh, no, we're good. We're good.
You good?
Yeah, we put it all to bed. Stop trying to bring it up.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
Just a question, mate.
I know, but, like, I can move on.
Goit, any learnings? You're up there on the Gold Coast.
I am Gold Coast.
Have they got Lions fever?
Yeah, got the kids away before the Lions really kicks off, and Goit goes to work, so I won't spend much time with them. So I brought them up. What I learnt, I learnt Bluey's World. That's a must do. If you're ever in Brisbane, we drove this morning to Bluey's World. It was great. All the kids enjoyed it, all ages. That's not my learning because I knew that was going to be great. My learning would be that AFL tough guys are pussies compared to rugby.
How and why?
Ooh, tell us more.
So, why? My brother-in-law lives up here. AFL, great. They love him, talk about him all the time. Buddy Franklin. We were playing touch footy with the kids on the beach where they wanted to play. Bud then said, like he charged, like he fended off Kai, who's an 11-year-old, fended off Kai and then streaked away and scored the try. And I was like, well, what are we doing? He said, well, tackle, isn't it? This is what we play. We playing rugby or what? I said, okay. So then they kick off. I think Kai maybe fended him. I got the ball, fended him. Anytime he ran it, he was a pussy. He's used to just holding it, you know, one hand and fending with his left. As soon as you stop that, like he had no game. So we've got some footage. Bianca's got some good footage. But what I learned is that if you're tough in AFL, doesn't necessarily mean a great lot.
So do you reckon if you three had played AFL, it would have been easy? That's what I'm hearing here.
Well, the toughness side, maybe not the running.
Yeah, maybe
or
against
kicking.
Buddy Franklin, but not anyone else.
Yeah, right.
Remember that time we wrestled? We went.
Yeah,
down there
you choked him out.
Yeah,
He doesn't have a good win ratio
for
against you
Melbourne
blokes.
Cup. We were in our undies as wrestling.
Just you and Buddy?
And I refused to tap at one point, and he had me in a bit of a vice, and every capillary in my eyelids burst. I was looking like a panda. I had to go catch a flight on the Monday morning straight to WARATAHS training, and I had every capillary burst, but I just wouldn't tap.
It was the weirdest thing. Black dots, like 100 black dots around each
Like I was
eye.
going pretty close to like
Dying?
blacking out, but just didn't want to, because then I got my way out of it, and then made him tap.
He's
He
very
tapped
stubborn.
quick too.
Drew's very stubborn. He's also good at getting out of a chokehold. I haven't seen you lose too many.
Do you think we could
Wrestlers.
get Buddy back in here for the next round? These two in there. Because I tell you, that'd be bums on seats. These two wrestling in here.
I reckon he's, from what I've seen, like it wouldn't be much of a show. It'd have to be a huge pre-show, and then the actual show be a non-event.
He's gone past it. I saw him bowling to Usman Khawaja recently.
Oh yeah,
Jersey
I
chucked
saw
some
that too.
pies. Goodness
Yeah,
me.
but he was also bowling from like first base in baseball.
Yeah, he was.
Come
Yeah.
over the wickets on.
Yeah, and he's a bit of a no ball action as well. Anyway, let's really pile on one of the all time greats. That's fantastic.
What about you, Prof? What did you learn?
I learnt that I turned 44 on the weekend.
Oh, we missed it.
Mate.
Oh, it's all right. I mean, it's 44 of them. Yeah, old bastard.
Oh, well, happy birthday, Prof.
Thank you, mate.
Yeah.
Are we too late?
Sorry.
No, it's gone. Been and gone. I mean, the older
no,
you get,
brother.
the less you want to talk about it. But obviously,
44.
obviously brought it up now.
How long have you been 44 for?
I
44
reckon
for
you
3
should have put
2
that
days.
in our group chat, Prof. Like I feel bad.
No,
You
I don't.
Happy birthday on your birthday.
I reckon you blokes in a couple of years, because the two of you talk non-stop about your birthdays about 6 months out, but you get to 44, you won't give a fuck anymore. You know the other thing?
Yeah.
The other thing is your family doesn't give a fuck either. That's the good news.
Yeah, right.
So, I turned 4. Yes, Goit, go.
What did the kids get you? I want to hear their present.
Okay, so Henry's currently reading a comic strip. So he needed the next book in a particular comic strip, so he got that book for me and then
Smart.
just took it into his room. And then my daughter got me a Sydney FC strip. So we like to go and watch Sydney FC play.
Nice.
Oh, that's nice.
Which is nice. She's 4, so I don't know how she made the transaction happen, but that was very nice of her.
And
Also,
what about
you go.
Come on, mate. Tell us what happened.
anything over your birthday?
Anything a little bit?
Yes.
Oh, Prof.
A
Proud
little
of you.
bit of Californication minus the Cali.
Oh, wait, sorry. Oh, you mean? Oh, sorry. I thought you meant we ordered pizzas and then watched a movie. Yeah, we did that.
So there's no Californication.
Let's move on. Hey, that's not. I don't like talking about that stuff because it just any chance of me ever getting another start.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'd love to watch you, Prof.
How would you use one word to describe how you think I'd get it done?
Quick.
Yeah. Efficient.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd have it all planned out. I'd have a rundown. All right. And I'd introduce
Would you?
it.
Would you?
Hello, welcome to the bedroom. Thanks for joining me for copulation. All right. Hey, the other thing I learnt, Budgie Smuggler have released these new outstanding
Should we
fleets
all
and-
just get up and get
Do it.
close
I
to the
don't know,
camera
please,
so
we
everyone
can-
can get a really good
we
look
sort
at
of-
you? These
look
are
at that.
incredible. I'll tell
I
you
mean-
what. I've had some fleeces in my time, Prof, but this, I feel like I could just go to sleep.
It is a retro-inspired
Mm.
licensed fleece made for winter footy. The fleece is as warm as a hug.
It is.
It makes you feel safe. I feel safe. Safe place.
You're not going to get fleeced in this fleece.
That's very good.
See what you did there.
It's the same kind of safeness that you felt when John Eales was captaining the Wallabies. That's what somebody's written here. Did you write that, Tom? Who wrote it? Jimmy from Budgie. Work on it, Jimmy. So, hey, it's just one of the new range that Budgie are doing. We're also, as a part of that, we have paired with them. There is the KOKO collection.
Speaking of pair,
Yeah. Show me, Biv. So, for those of you listening, Biv is now holding up a pair of Budgies. His microphone is down, but you can get a pair of Budgie Smugglers. This is designed. This is a Drew Mitchell design.
well, no. It's Tommy and I worked on this one, but obviously the iconic Croc Dundee with a bit of a Schmitty in there, taming the lions instead of the buffalo.
Oh, the Schmidt Dundee.
Yeah, Schmidt Dundee.
So it is. The idea is the lion tamers because we're going to tame them. So it's the old. Buffalo.
So, if they're a very hot product, which they will be, who's taking the credit for the design? You or Tommy?
Tommy.
Or Tommy?
Yeah.
You're not going to take anything?
We've also got some for the lion tamers. We've got lion tamers, but also for the lion supporters. We've got a pair of budgies that are coming out as well, plus T-shirts for both Wallabies and Lions supporters. So make sure you get on, sign up early for the pre-release. Put your details down and make sure you get them early because these things, they're going to run out the door.
Okay.
Is it Farrell with a wallaby in a headlock? Is that what we ended up
Yes.
on? Or
Yeah.
What the wallaby walloper?
Wallaby
He's-
walloper, yeah.
He's doing what Buddy did to you, choking him out.
Pretty much, yeah.
So very good. Just get a pencil and write this down. https://buddiesmuggler.com.au/pages/wallabies. You know what we'll do? We'll put the link up.
Yeah.
That's what we'll
Yeah,
do.
I think we can do
and
that,
you can
yeah.
just click on the link.
Who has pencils?
I still carry a pencil. Do you not? Behind the
Well,
head?
on that, very quickly, Levi went to a disco, and
Oh, how was
the
his
whole
pencil?
point is you go there, but you're not allowed to take your phone. You can't take your phone there.
Oh.
But what you do, like they don't talk to each other. But at one point, you go over and say, "Can I have your phone number?" And a girl come up to him and said, "Can I have your phone number?" And he's like, "I don't have a pen." So then she just turned around and just walked off. He didn't have a pen or pencil. People need to carry pencils.
Yeah.
That's it. So that could have been the one, and he's missed his chance.
Has she
Missed
like
out.
maybe followed up on the socials or something afterwards just to say, look,
No, you don't do that. That's why I said, "What's her name?" He said, "Well, Dad, I'd know that if I'd texted her." So he doesn't know anything.
all right.
I said, "Okay, well."
I think he needs to come and have another little trip down to Sydney.
Yeah, I know, right? I think instead of taking him to all the food places, he can just block his hole. He needs to sit down with Drew for about 30 minutes.
No, he doesn't. He needs to go a little bit further north in Narrabeen and come sit with Uncle Swoop.
No,
Yeah,
Swoop,
that'd be
you're 18. I've told you that. Not
Right.
before 18.
Okay.
It's a good show. Hey, it is time for our brand new Guinness segment. This is taking the world by storm. It is called, of course, the perfect pour. Basically, what I want you gents to do is you pour your Guinness perfectly. This week we have the Tommy. Remind me of what this thing's called again. Sorry. The Guinness Nitro Surge. This thing, you put it on your can, it pours it perfectly. While you pour your beer, you have to give me the perfect pour from the weekend. Obviously, Force took on the Lions. It's that magical moment, that wonderful moment that you thought will go on for the ages and exist for a very long time. So, do you want to go first, Swoop,
Sure,
for the perfect
I'd love
pour?
to, yeah.
And Goit, you'll just have to get yourself armed there just while we do this. Grab yourself a little beer out of the Guinness fridge.
Yeah.
Just, I'm going to try and if we open this here, Swoop, and then this thing goes on top. We're going to line up there like that, and I believe that's it, right? And then you hit the button on the back, and then when the harp lights up, then you can pour it.
He's not listening
Mate,
at all.
I did not hear a
Oh,
word.
good.
You said
Just
I was
pour it
too
and hit
busy
the button.
focusing on my hair.
That's
Okay,
fine.
you're
There
right,
we go. Okay.
Okay,
So,
so
you hit the button on the back as you.
You haven't hit the button, son.
Yeah, right. Which button? The on button or the?
Yeah, the only button.
Right.
And just wait for the harp to light up, and then tell me what your perfect pour from the weekend was. The best moment.
All right, we're on. Okay, so my perfect. Oh, okay. I'm getting some drippage here. Okay, this is going to be hard. My perfect pour from the weekend was, one, they were very impressive. Two, Henry Pollock. He's.
What's wrong with
You're
you?
about to get emotional.
Oh, no, I'm dripping all over my shoe here. He's just the variation in his attack, and also just how involved he was in terms of everywhere all over the field. But the fact that he, in that moment where he scored the try, which was the second try, I'm just going to let that sit there because that's 119 seconds. It's coming up. The ability to tip and then also chase the second touch. Van der Fleer obviously keeping the ball alive, offloading to Pollock, going through, and then for him to kind of swerve infield, wait for support, and then kind of get tackled, win the contact, and then just be very patient with his offload to Williams, who ended up scoring the try. I thought it was class. I mean, there are a lot of impressive moments throughout the game, but the fact that there was some interchange, like in terms of like the support play between different nation players, kind of concerns me a little because of just their ability to support and kind of anticipate each other's play. I didn't think they'd click or connect that well this early.
So soon, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously it was a very impressive performance, but seeing the little interchanges, the ability to keep ball alive, the second touch mentality, all the support, and here comes the 119 seconds now, Prof.
Do it for me.
Yeah, I mean it's alarming, and yeah, I think the Wallabies are going to have their work cut out for them.
Yeah, he sets himself up a little bit, Pollock, to be judged, but that's what you want. You want characters. What I noticed off a lot of that, a lot of his game was, bar maybe one or two tries, he was often the first person to congratulate someone for a try or the second. So his support play and his work rate, like he's just a rugby player. Like he gets it, he gets around the park. Yeah, I thought he had a good game, and it's someone that I think automatically each game teams are looking to kill him for whatever reason. I don't know. It just seems like he irritates teammate or opposition a fair bit.
Have you seen how perfect that pour is, by the way? Just
Mate, I'll
hold
tell
that
you
up
what.
to camera.
Pollock was impressive, but that's an even more impressive paw.
The perfect paw. Would you like to go next, Biv, or would you? Why don't you, while you get the contraption, Goit, why don't you go next on our perfect paw?
Yeah, so I don't have the can on me or the contraption, but mine's going to be a perfect three-way paw. I've got 3 wine glasses here in the where I'm staying. So mine would be the very first try. Dan Shan, obviously, I think it's the quickest try that I think that they've scored in any British or Irish Lions tour. Before that was Lucy, I think, in New Zealand. But more, for me, the impressive part was, I think, the difference that Finn Russell's made. Not that Finn Smith was poor. I thought he was great when he played, against Argentina. I thought he showed a lot of composure, but it's just the way that I think Finn plays with so much confidence. Finn Russell, plays with so much confidence. He just plays what he sees. So he got the ball, crossfield kick early in the game. Dan Shan, the hooker, captain as well. Brilliant hands, tipped it inside to low, then offload. Dan Shan. I don't know. It's just that Swoop was talking about the way that they're combining is scary to him. But that confidence that they showed so early in the game was a bit, frightening for me, for what we're actually going to face in the Lions series. So, yeah, I think the combinations that they've got and the confidence with Finn Russell there is my perfect paw, and they are perfect paws. Even in a wine glass, this stuff looks great. Seriously.
That is perfect. Look at that.
Perfect.
Talk to me, Biv. You are our last perfect pawer.
Well done, Goit. My perfect paw, it's actually going to go really off the back of what Matt was saying around Finn Russell. Just the try they scored off the short tap, the quick tap that he played. I just don't think you get that with the other 10 options. Like sort of the Western Force started to turn their back a little bit. Just that innovation and that eyes up footy just to go, even though we're 45 metres out here, we're on. So just back yourself and then just find the support player and go. And it's, obviously that play in itself, it's it's a great play, but it's more what it shows in terms of what Finn Russell brings, and it's that kind of instinctive play. I think as well, we can get a little bit lazy on our analysis or on our sort of the way that we summarise the way that they play, just because they're Northern Hemisphere and they play tight footy and they kick a lot and all that. I just don't think that's what we're going to see from this Lions team. I think they've got the capacity and the personnel to play a really wide and expansive game. They showed that over the weekend. Some of the tries they scored, the way they're linking up, the combinations and all of that. They're going to threaten the Wallabies right across the park, and not just the Wallabies, all the lead-up games as well. I just think it could be a little bit lazy to kind of just to put them in a box just to say that they're 10-man footy, that old English, Irish, Welsh, Scottish type of footy. These guys can play footy from anywhere, and just that little moment from Finn Russell kind of, to me, just sort of typified, if he's at the helmet number 10, they have the ability to I've just got to push this button. I like how they just conserve the energy and then bang. Look at that.
See, when it's perfectly on its side like that, it's just.
I reckon also Marcus Smith, to me, looks more, I don't know if he feels that way, but it just looks like he adds way more value coming off the pine. Coming in, being able to play a couple of positions, but bringing that dynamic style that he has to finish off games. I don't know. I think that's his best position. If he's to be involved in the Test rugby, from a Lions point of view, I'd have him off the bench with a couple of different positions and being able to really chase a game or close a game.
Let me ask you, Thomas Williams played the house down, unfortunately.
Poor fella, yeah.
Yeah, he's headed back to the UK. Ben White from Scotland's going to replace him. Alex Mitchell came on and did a very good job. So obviously Jamison Gibson Park's coming back. Who is that starting 9 for the Lions?
I would have thought it would have been Gibson Park, but Alex Mitchell did so well in the first test. Obviously Williams did really well there, but it's been sent home due to injury. But
I think it's Jamison Gibson Park. I think he might have been carrying a little bit of a niggle from the Leinster season.
Yeah.
Hence why they kind of delayed his game. He's starting on Wednesday night against the Reds. So, and I think, I don't know, there's just a couple of combinations in this lineup for the Reds game where I feel like it's getting closer to their test team. You got Jamison Gibson Park, Finn Russell, you got Bundy Keane, Hugh Jones. I mean, obviously there's two, but I just think it's just sort of starting to get a little bit closer. Maro Toje's back. Sheen's still, there's guys that are backing up that played Saturday night and going again. So that to me then thinks, okay, I'll probably rest them against the Waratahs game, play them against the Brums. And, they're just sort of thinking ahead as to when they can play their best team and get them enough time together, but then also have them rested well enough to to play in that test team.
Can I do my perfect pour?
Yeah.
It's just going to be a comment. Mac Hansen's efforts, the effort areas. He, for a game that's against the Force, which, isn't the big Wallabies game, and a guy who's born and bred here, he did not stop running the whole night. There was that one particular play where it was back and forth, but then Ben Donaldson made a break, and it was down the right-hand side, and he took off. And then Mac Hansen from the opposing wing chased him down, made the tackle, got the turnover, got up, and then kicked it all the way down to, was it Donaldson down the other end, whoever it was. He then chased him 70 metres, made the tackle, and then got another turnover. It was a knock on. Like it was, I'm going to say 300 metres that he ran.
Yeah. I reckon also for Mac, it was a bit more personal, even when you play Super Rugby clubs, because you're kind of that Aussie that's gone away. And I saw it, like most of the game, I was watching him and Darcy Swain, who are at the Brumbies together. Like there's just a little bit of niggle and a little bit of that cheap chat. And I wonder how much Andy Farrell wants Mac to engage in that. Like, because he's going to get it every game. He's going to know people. So I was just trying to watch that pretty closely. I don't know. What's your thoughts on that, Beef?
Well, yeah, I mean, I saw Andy Farrell after the game. He said that was the one moment he isolated and said that's the type of effort we need from these Lions players. Like that's the sort of standard that we need. Mac Hansen, working off the ball, going out his way, making those effort areas. That's what typifies the Lions spirit and all that sort of stuff. So it's not only you that I acknowledge that, Prof, but like the coach is seeing it, and then I'm sure that'll be brought up in today's review meeting in front of the squad and used as an example. But I mean, I think it's a fine line, Giddy. I think like you've got to engage in it, but not to the point where it loses your focus on the task at hand. And if Mac Hansen on the weekend was able to do both, he was able to kind of engage in a bit of niggle but still execute his role. I think if he can get that balance right, I'd say, mate, just be yourself and express yourself. But the moment it sort of starts impacting the way you play, then you kind of rein him in a little bit, much like Henry Pollock, really, but less, I guess, in terms of like, that personal sense, because he doesn't have those relationships with the players, but he likes to get involved in niggle. Like there was one probably after one of the tries, he got into Crepney's face. Like neither of them were involved in the try. Probably that one you can shelf it, but otherwise, I love what he's bringing to it. But at the same time, like you said, Giddy, he's bringing a lot of attention to himself. So like, and he's backing it up, which is great. But the moment like he might crack under it, or there might be a line that it's crossed, and you can't sort of sit there and go, hang on, mate, I don't want all this attention. Like, once you go in, you're all in.
Peach got him a beauty on where he probably couldn't have pulled out of the tackle, but he got him a nice one. Who played very well, Dylan Peach. He put his hand up.
Peach
he was in everything.
Immense.
Dylan Peach played well. Mac really played really well as well, actually. Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple of really good standout performances from the Force. Like Peach, for me, was something like 13 or so carries for over 100 metres kind of gain, but he was heavily involved. Like he's put his hand up there to Joe Smith there.
And you know who else played really well? And he might not have to give his left testicle, is Tom Robertson. So he hasn't played a test since 2022, and he was being quoted through the week saying, I'd give my left testicle to play another test. I think maybe just the form he's in might get him that test rather than the testicle, I thought the way that he held up his scrum up against Ty Furlong and the other guys in the Lions set piece, I thought he was immense, and I wouldn't be surprised as well if, you're reading into it. Tiniela Tupou has been released to play for the Waratahs on the weekend, so he won't be facing Fiji. Does that mean Tommy Robertson gets a go?
I don't know what you boys saw. Sorry, Gits.
No, go.
The urgency and the enthusiasm of the Lions. Like it's like you can see how much it means to them in terms of obviously representing the British and Irish Lions jersey, but also feels like there's a real heat and competition for selection going into the major series. And that kind of intensity, that urgency was noted. Like, I mean, it was very visible in terms of their ability to get off the ground quick, their urgency off the line in defence, their kick chase, their communication in between breaks. I mean, this squad has turned up to play.
Gits?
Yeah, I reckon that a lot of it has to do with that Argentinian test.
Yeah.
Like he was saying that Argentina played for the jersey more than our actual Lions players did, Andy Farrell, after that game. But what I was going to say when we're talking about players that played well, I would have liked to see more involvement from Dono. Like, I know he was put to fullback and there wasn't a real lot for him to work with, but to have an actual proper trial, almost like, see how he would go at 10, I would have liked to see him at first receiver. I think when he started to play front line a little bit more, the game was lost. Like, they were well and truly gone there. But that was probably one thing. Not disappointed in him because I think he did all he could have, but I would have liked to have seen him at 10 rather than fullback.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's because Kirtley, the call to withdraw Kirtley from the game was so late. Rather than making a couple of changes, they just went like for like. Kirtley out at fullback, Dono in. I think if they had the full week of prep, I think Dono would have played at 10. And then would have been able to sort of probably have his fingerprints on a little bit more. I agree, because I think we're definitely going to see Dono more of a chance playing at 10 at the Wallabies than he is at fullback. So, I think that was probably more just because Kirtley was ruled out so late. But, I mean, can't argue the fact that, like, once he was sort of in that first ball player's position, the game was probably already gone a little bit.
Good segment, boys. That was the perfect pour. Guinness are sponsoring our live shows as well. Now, you've often thought, how can I get behind the boys? We've done a large portion of this year for free. Lord knows, about 16 weeks. If you want to support us, get out and buy a ticket to see us. Swoopers just come up with the big finale. We're all going to show you our back wheels. No, if you want to, come along. First and foremost, in Brisbane, it is at West Bulldogs. Then in Sydney, we are doing Luna Park.
Yeah,
I can't wait for that. Like, think about it, moustache across that big mouth of.
Oh, good thinking.
Was that you? Did you put that in? Was that me that came up with that? I think it was.
Those tickets go on sale later this week. We'll put it up on our socials when they do. It's going to invite. I think you can also do a ride and a beer, which maybe you'd do the ride first and then the beer. And then finally, we will be doing one in Melbourne. The location we are still working out. So TBC. Please go onto www.kickoffsandkickons.com. It will all be in there. And that is how you can support us.
But basically, it's just keep your Friday nights free before the test matches.
Get out, support us. You can meet us. We would love to have a beer with you. That is for sure. Let's take a look at Wednesday. There's a couple of things happening. First and foremost, the Reds are taking on the Lions. We'll have a quick little look at these lineups, boys. The lineup that the Reds posted this afternoon is very strong.
Yeah, it's strong.
Was there a couple of standouts there, Biv, that you noticed?
Aiden Ross, All Black. I think this will be his first game for the Reds, starting up alongside Jeffrey Tuamanga Allen, so former All Black boys playing for the Reds now. Your boy Matty Fessler, Lukan Salakaia-Loto, Kenham, Seru Uru, Bri. I mean, that's a good.
Lots of Wallabies.
It's a good pack, yeah. And then obviously in the back line, Kalani Thomas, McLaughlin Phillips, Hunter Paisami, Fluke. Like, they've got Anderson, the Junkyard Dog, Campbell. Like, it's a good side. And what they've also done is they've gone with a 6-2 bench. So they've obviously just going to think that it's all about the physicality and just make sure they've got enough troops for that sort of battle up front on the bench. But it's that's what I think as well. Like, you look at the game against the Force on the weekend. The Lions are bringing on fully bona fide starting international players off their bench, and that's where the difference is going to be in these tour matches. Is probably the depth in terms of the bench. So it's really important that for these the Australian Super Rugby teams and the other invitational teams that we've got, really important to get off to a good start. So that the game's you're not already chasing the game when you're bringing a bench on.
I'm really keen to see how the Reds midfield go. I mean, obviously Fluke has been out for the majority of, a lot of the Super Rugby season. Obviously made a return recently. I think he's got a lot to prove. He's obviously going to be putting his hand up for Wallaby selection throughout the series. Hunter Paisami. It's a strong midfield. It's actually a classy kind of backline. I'm pretty excited to see how well they go in terms of that kind of transition attack, off structured, because the Reds they've got that capability to kind of get the ball wide and play in those wider channels and kind of create those line bends and be able to play on top. Just interesting to see how they kind of deal with the Lions' line speed like that. Their intensity off the line is very strong. So they would have had a really good look at that kind of defensive system over the weekend, and hopefully they kind of can create a little bit of variation or some kind of attacking tactical play to manipulate that kind of line speed.
Goy, have you had a look at the Lions team they've popped up? Obviously, there's a few changes there.
No, I was listening to Drew. But as far as when he was saying they're looking to back people up, Sheehan, Toji comes in, it's getting closer. Hugh Jones, I thought Hugh Jones when he came on, he just brings that dynamic. I mean, not that Ringrose was bad. I just thought when Hugh Jones came on, he just brings a different element to him. It's like always attacking, so defensively, he asks a lot of questions. I'm not more interested, but it's just interesting after the Lions CEO or who was it that came out saying that all Wallabies must be released. Some have now been sent back and then some aren't playing. So how does that work? Because you've got Tate and Liner that aren't named here as well.
And Harry Wilson, and Fraser, right, all those boys. But look, ultimately there's no breach of the contract by Joe Schmidt or Rugby Australia. There's nothing in there to say that they have to play every single player that's from the Wallabies in the tour lead-up matches. I think it's also, Rich, it's something they do every tour. They come down and they accuse every other nation of playing weaker teams. But at no point is anyone expecting the Lions to put out their best 23 at every single tour game. So the Wallabies shouldn't have to put out their, what will be their 23 for the test matches. They shouldn't have to play these games either. It's just about preparation. I think when we spoke to Joe Schmidt earlier, only sort of a month ago, he sort of said that it's going to be, proposition. It's going to be individualised. So some players, like the Force boys, hadn't played in a month, so they probably needed a bit more. Some will be used, like the Harry Potters, I would imagine, will be announcing this team to play against Fiji, so that's why he wasn't released. I think it's just going to be, it'll be just sort of depending on where that player's at, whether he's going to be involved in the test team. Like Teniela Tupou's just been released for the Waratahs game on the weekend. That probably definitely suggests he's not playing against Fiji. So I think it's probably just depending on who's going to get the gig in the test team, then they can release other players around that.
So they've just come here and had a whinge, basically, and they like to have a whinge wherever they go.
Yeah.
Is that?
You know what? I respect a good whinge.
I know you do, mate. I know you do. What better time to bring up our next segment, folks, which is it is the Reds taking on the Lions this Wednesday, as I said, but we are doing a watch-along for Tab. You can log on to our YouTube page. You can click a little link and you can join us as we sit and watch. All four of us will be there. The game will be playing. We'll be having a feed, having a watch. It's basically I guess it's the coverage, but it's just four blokes having a watch and having a laugh is the best way to describe it.
It's effectively like we're in your living room with you watching along. We just won't talk back to you if you ask us something.
Well, no. Funnily enough, they can get involved. So
see, that was a good segue.
It was perfect. So you'll be able to send us questions. We'll be doing polls while we're doing it.
Probably challenges as well.
You can send us challenges. I didn't think of that. So it will be a very, very fun night. Make sure you log on for that. And also, I want it to work because I want to do this for all the games.
Yeah.
Because I think it will be a lot of fun. So we're going to nail this first one, no pressure. As a part of that, we'll also be taking a look at a few of the odds. First and foremost, the head-to-head. What about these odds? Have you ever heard odds like this before? The Reds are paying $17.
Oh, money for jam.
The Lions are paying $1.01. Have you seen odds in a competitive game like this before, gents?
Oh,
usually, like Toulon against Bordeaux, when Sweet was at Bordeaux, Will Toulon was the last time I saw odds like that.
Yeah, they were maybe even 18.
Righto, Snorefest. Hey, listen, $17. I know it's a TAB segment, but clearly they don't have anyone working at TAB that knows what they're doing. $17, the Reds.
What's the line there, Prof?
Yeah, it's a 28.5 start, Goy.
Thank you.
28.5 is the line.
Yep. So $1.90 each way, 28.5, which is pretty good from that side. We just saw lots of big stars in that red side still kicking about.
Interestingly, the Western Force, I think, are around 26, so they've obviously adjusted a little bit after the weekend and how good their lines were. And yeah.
Money for jam. Make sure you get involved in that. And again, make sure you log in on Wednesday night. We'll be starting about 20 minutes before the game. Just remember, one of the all-time great commentators is on our team.
We're not commentating, we're just watching along.
No.
But what I will say as well is they're going to offer a same-game multi on Wednesday, so closer to the game, the markets will open. There'll be more options and different markets for you to be able to put on the same game if you're that way inclined. Otherwise,
okay, Drew, give me one leg.
Well, we don't know. They haven't put the markets up yet, but we'll have a look.
There could be a leg.
Well, I'll give it to you on Wednesday. Tune on the watch
I reckon
along.
your boy, Matty Fessler, anytime try scorer.
Yep, maybe.
you take the reds with the line, or maybe I'd adjust the line. I'll go alternate line, give us about 35 start, 35 and a half.
Smart.
Into who do you reckon is going to score from the line, Swoop? You got to pick one.
Oh, Hugh Jones would go. Oh, Swoop, did you say? Sorry, you go. Mate.
Probably Druhan.
Yeah, Drew
Van der
Hunt.
Merwe, yeah.
He's due for one.
Yeah.
It's your same game.
There you go.
Well, we'll double check it on Wednesday. It's 7:40 AEST. So if you are in the UK and you're logging on, I don't know, type into Google what is 7:40 AM AEST in Greenwich Mean Time. Find us. And yeah, click on the link. Enjoy us. Get involved. Send us questions. Go into the poll. Do all that you can. And it's a big thanks to Tab on that. All righty, punters. If you're visiting Australia from overseas, Tab has you sorted this British and Irish Lions tour for all your punting needs. Download the Tab app today for all the latest British and Irish Lions tour odds and same game multi-markets. If you're heading into one of our iconic pubs to watch the games, look for one with a Tab area where you can use the terminals to place your Lions series bets.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.
May it continue. Let's keep chatting rugby. The Wallabies take on Fiji on Sunday, 1:30 p.m.
Ooh.
Is it still Marathon Stadium? I'm going to say it is. Newcastle.
North Central
McDonald
Coast.
Jones. It was always Marathon to me.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
What, have I started something there? Or
No,
McDonald Jones Stadium there in Newcastle.
Yeah.
Definitely. It'd be sold out. But if it's not, make sure you get your tickets. Let me ask you this. What's Joe Schmidt looking for here? Is he trying combinations or is it too late for that now?
Oh, they'd probably, I don't know if it's probably trying combinations, probably giving time for combinations to flourish a little bit. I think what he'd be looking for is just things that they've been doing in training camp to transfer into field. Like we've heard it so many times from people who were coached by him in the island setup, but now obviously here with the Wallabies, like his attention to detail at the attacking ruck, like all these little things, the simplification of the game that Joe Schmidt's known for, the blueprint of his coaching. Like he just want to see that that's actually transferred from the training onto the field. And because if you get those things right, the players are talented enough and skillful enough to kind of execute. Yep. But if you can't get those things right, it makes it really hard.
Yeah, I think the game, any game is won at the attacking ruck, right? The ability to kind of retain the ball. I think there'll be a huge focus on that in terms of their technique and the ability to kind of provide quick ball. However, in terms of attacking shape, I think they won't show too much. I think in terms of the pitches, they'll show potentially around the same way, and then show the variation when Test 1 comes up in Suncorp.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think we've got enough time to put things up our sleeve and just try it the first time in the first test.
Is it Fiji?
Oh, mate,
it's
not that hard to go around the corner though.
No, I know, but I just don't think they're going to hide things
Yeah, I'm kind
like
of
a few
speaking
line
broadly.
out things and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, but they're not going to show their strike plays or in terms of, because if you saw on the weekend, right? I mean, they've got some serious line speed and also they've got that zero ruck policy too. I think for the majority of the game, there was at least 14 people on their feet in that British and Irish Lions defensive line, which shows a real urgency and desperation in terms of contributing, in terms of connecting and applying a lot of pressure. However, does Joe want to show how to attack that line speed in game one?
Yeah.
I
I honestly think we can't look further than the Fiji. Fiji, last time we played these guys, they beat us at the World Cup. I think you've got to have to just go in there just to beat Fiji and not worry about what's happening with the Lions. No, I'm not doing this just to have a go. I just think that we're not in a position now to sit there and look past Fiji to worry about the first test of the Lions. They're going to be a serious test, and I think we haven't had a great track record in Newcastle, and I think for this game, they've got to throw absolutely everything they can at it. It might be a slightly different game plan because the Lions play a different style to what Fiji do. But I think you've got to throw absolutely everything at it because the moment you sort of start to look past it, you don't want to be going into the first test of the Lions after a loss as well.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? In terms of showing a different picture, they'll have the same setup, but they'll play the variation, I think, later on. It's important too, right? You got to show variation. Gitz, you're a bit of a wizard in terms of week to week, right? You don't want to be showing the pitches that you're going to be playing in game one now. I think they'll rely on some pretty generic shape. They'll they'll focus on the attacking ruck, yes, and they'll focus on winning, obviously, but you kind of can't show too many pitches too early, right?
Well, I mean, you're both right. I like to sit on the fence here. Love yous both. I think you're playing Fiji. You're not playing the British and Irish Lions. So you're not going to run a game plan that you're going to play to beat the British and Irish Lions against Fiji minus a couple of subtleties. I think you're going to look at what they bring. They're unbelievable at the breakdown, the Fijians. They're confrontational. They love that physicality. I think and they love that looseness, the loose, open play. That's what they thrive on. So I think this one will be a very structured, disciplined game plan from Joe Schmidt. And I think also you're right, Swoop, if you're looking going the same way, if they're just going to fold around and not change the point of direction, they may still change the point of direction with players, but the option will be just to flow the same way. Yeah. So I kind of get what you're saying there. And I agree with Drew. Like the Fijians, it's not like we're a team that can just roll up thinking we'll just do what we've got to do to get through this game, because we've seen that just doesn't work. We're not at that level. The Fijians are an unbelievable international side now. So I think this will be a tough game. They'll play pretty tight. I reckon what Joe's looking for is just those effort areas. You talked about Mac Hansen, that one area that he did against the Force. He'd be looking at the players playing for the jersey. Those effort areas, I reckon, is what he'll be after.
I reckon discipline will be key, not in terms of infringing or, applying that kind of, or pushing the boundary in terms of testing the referee, but discipline to stay in attack shape, because you know what it's like when you play Fiji, right? Because they play loose. They love the unconventional pass over the top, the ability to offload. It can get quite frantic. And in a weird way, when you're kind of playing against that kind of style, you can kind of mirror that. I think the focus will also be that to stay disciplined in terms of their attacking shape and be really kind of clinical around their lines, their execution. And
you remember when we, in the 2015 World Cup, Nathan Gray was our defensive coach. He said Leone, who was coming from, he's a second row, he's coming from I didn't want to, gamble on the name, I knew him as Leone, but he just said, if he wants to keep offloading, smack him in the ribs, smack him as hard as you can. Every time he did it, blokes would try and fold him. He offloaded over the top for 80 minutes. He didn't stop. So they're tough to play against. The Fijians, every time, no matter the score, whether you beat them by 20 or it was 2 points, your body was ruined. Like, they're just made of granite, these guys. So I think the Wallabies have no choice but to be up for that physicality and know that it's coming.
Obviously, look, we've got that Fijian game to get to, but I've skipped over the mighty Tahs.
The day before
taking on the Lions. So much rugby at the moment. It's quality rugby. I was going to come to you, Mr. WARATAHS.
Oh, really?
We obviously don't know the lineups. We don't know the result from Wednesday. We don't really know much. But what's going to happen? Are they going to? We all know that Taniela's playing for the WARATAHS. Are they going to roll out a strong side like the Reds have?
Well, I mean, they'll roll out the strongest side they can, right? And I reckon in front of a full house Allianz Stadium, the atmosphere is going to be electric. I think the Tahs will get up. Drew, you're probably the one to kind of comment on this because you played against the Lions for the Tahs. What's the atmosphere like in terms? Also, like after a Super Rugby season, there's a couple of weeks before this game, right? What kind of conversations are you kind of having?
Yeah, well, I mean, I was in a sort of a different scenario because I'd signed to play for Toulon. I wasn't really involved in the WARATAHS anymore, but then Czech said, "Oh, mate, just come and play with us," because the Wallabies wouldn't release me to go to France early, so I was sort of in this limbo. But so I wasn't there for the whole training period before the Lions game. But what it does do is it presents opportunities for younger guys, right? Guys that have been on the fringe for most of the year. I mean, back in those when we played, there was a young Will Skelton playing. Like all these young guys that have gone to kick on and have big careers thereafter. But this was sort of like the biggest game that they'd played in to that point, in front of the biggest crowd. The atmosphere was different to what you get at a normal WARATAHS game. So there's just so much more to it. And I remember Tommy Carter, he scored 2 tries in that, probably his best game in his career in terms of like just the quality he put out there. Like the boys were right up for it. And, it's one of those, you don't get an opportunity to do that very often. And you've just got to take it while you're there. That's all it is.
Gitz, you want to go?
Well, no, I saw your hand up, but I was just What's the game plan like, Beef, when you're in those games? So obviously for the Lions, it's a bit more test focused, but is it when you're in that scenario, is it more like a Barbars type, like throw it around, let's have a go, let's have a couple of these trick plays, something to get you excited, or?
Look, I think the temptation is to go there, and I know that I spoke to Cronny after the game, Simon Cron from the Western Force on the weekend, and he sort of seems to think perhaps they probably should have gone a little bit more closer to like a test match, take points when they're on offer, build a bit of a score. Rather than sort of just playing, because it's an exhibition game, it's a one-off. The tendency is to play a little bit looser and express yourselves a bit more. But I think you've got to treat the game with respect and go in it as if it's a test match. Try and build a bit of a score, and because once you sort of start doing that, you get yourself in the game. Then those opportunities will come up. I think when you try and create them from nothing, those the wide, looser kind of plays don't really come off because you're under pressure, and you spoke about it a number of times, their line speed, all that sort of stuff. Like, unless you're actually going at them, keeping them on their heels in defence, put them in the right areas of the field in terms of territory. Like, I think it's very hard to play loose. I don't know why it works sometimes in the Barbarians, because maybe it's a bit of Dutch courage that you're going into the game with. You still
anxiety's
coming
quite
out of your
powerful,
core,
isn't it, Drew? I would like to know. Well, first of all, I want to kind of just comment on the Lions game and the Force quickly. I know we kind of covered that, but 21 minutes was ball in play in the first half. That's a high amount of ball in play time.
All the boys said that it was like a lot of ball in play. They were all absolutely gassed at half time.
Like that's high. That's a high ball in play time in terms of they looked gassed.
Well, I mean, I think that's another thing. Like, everyone talks about Super Rugby being more wide and expansive and open, but the Lions players are able to go at that speed. So, I think sometimes we just get these generalizations about the type of footy played in different areas of the world. Like, I think it's pretty naive.
Too?
Yeah.
I want to know what was going through your thought process when Czech asked you to play. You'd signed in France. What were you thinking to get yourself up? Like, honestly, because I've actually never asked you this question.
I didn't really.
Was it a bit of a like, I want to show these guys what they're missing or what? Well, I
probably should have been in that test squad had it not been for the selection. It was just like they just said we're not picking you because you're going elsewhere, and I was like, okay. I mean, not much I can do about it. But then they didn't release me until the end of September. So by September I blew out. But at that point I was fine. Like, played well against the Lions in that WARATAHS game. But it's just one of those things. Like, they came in and said, look, this is what we're going to do. I couldn't change their mind. It was just more for myself, just go out there and play. Like, I also wanted to make sure I was still playing well, because at that point I thought I could go the next week or I could go the next month. Like, I didn't know when I was leaving, when they're going to release me. So it was just another opportunity for me for game time, play well, and then potentially get to Toulon in good shape. Now, that didn't happen because if they held me here a little bit longer. But, no, I mean, I think as well, mate, it's like any game you go out there, you got enough motivations to get yourself
I just wanted to know what was going through your mind, because I know it was a tough period. I know you were excited to kind of go over there and join Gets in Toulon, but also the fact that, you weren't part of that squad.
Yeah.
Czech kind of asked you.
Yeah, well, I
went on to know what goes on,
I went on a tour to Argentina with the WARATAHS during that period as well.
Mm.
Yeah.
Was that the game that you caught the ball between your legs?
Yeah. Lee Halfpenny.
That was the Lions game, wasn't it? Yeah.
Oh, we got to get that up.
Lee Halfpenny kicked
We'll
it
get that up. Can we find that, Tommy?
That was actually pretty good, and I actually tried it.
It's very good.
I tried it in the game some stage.
Yeah.
Hey, I had a segue, but then you stepped all over it when you guys were talking about the Barbarians, and then you just came in with your "what's happening upstairs" question. It was very good. It was important. I'm not having a go here. I'm just saying I'm bringing my segue back round.
Oh, Prof, you
no, I'm not. No, South Africa 54 defeated the Barbarians 7. It was an interesting contest. The best contest actually took place prior to the match over Twitter. I don't know if you saw this go back and forth. Yeah. Tony Brown said that for us, this is like a test match. Obviously, the Springboks assistant coach.
Go away, Tony.
And then the Barbarians came back and said, does that mean we've forgotten the gentleman's agreement? Are the scrums going to be contested? And then they came back, and Razzie Erasmus came back and said, we'll ask Dan and get back to you, which was nice. They'd asked the scrummaging coach.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, this is going back and forth. Then there was a great photograph of the Barbarians at a winery. Just He basically said, update, we're taking this as a firm no to our gentleman's scrummaging proposal. Dan has gone all Rocky Balboa, iron sharpens and iron boot camps because he had them basically doing proper contested scrummaging in the lead up. And then, the boys obviously enjoyed their vineyard and their charcuterie board.
I mean,
so I feel like
the Barbars got pumped. You got to kind of question, what did they do during the week? Did they get around each other?
Probably not enough.
Exactly.
Oh, you think in the reverse?
Yeah, you got to get around each other more.
Oh, so my question is, was one team taking it really seriously and the other team was doing the Barbarians thing? Or do you think both sides?
I think both teams were taking it a little bit too seriously.
Oh, there you go.
Guts?
No, I mean, I've played 4 Barbars against test teams, and you've played 4, your country against Barbarians teams. And if you're in that test team, it's a test match. Like, you're getting judged on it. The public want you to represent the country well. So I think, if you're in the test team, you've got to play a certain way. But they know that the Barbarians are going to play a bit more expansive. You're going to throw the ball. You're going to have a couple of those trick plays that really get your dick hard as a like one of the game controllers. So you just know it's a tricky game if you're a test player coming up against Barbarians players, not knowing exactly how they want to play, and that's the beauty of it. So I think both of them, you've got to enjoy the week. Like, it's all about getting around guys that you play against, you've hated for so long, or you've disliked, or you've got an opinion on them. Now you spend a week with them, get around them, have a few drinks, obviously have a couple of plays and know the game plan. Is the Barbarians week from the South Africans, you've got to treat it like a test.
Yeah.
Like, if they went out and threw the ball everywhere and then the public's into them for, saying it's a Mickey Mouse contest, or they treat it like an exhibition, which with the Lions, I've had a couple of English mates saying I didn't like the way they played against Argentina. They treated it like an exhibition. They didn't play like a test match. So I think when you're representing your country or something more significant, you've got to treat it that way. And the Barbarians, who cares? Go out and have a crack. You got flogged, who cares? You have a good week.
I love it.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's basically like an amateur club that come up and play against international teams, but that's what's so unique and special about it. So, they'll take you to dinners, and then they'll give you allowances to go out and spend your salmons, and they'll go a long way in rand as well. So, like, those boys would have gone pretty hard, I would imagine.
And you'd go out on top of the Barbars commitments for your own little speaking gigs for more salmons.
Yeah.
But it's a tough week. Like, I remember waking up on a Thursday morning, in the shower, head up against the wall, going, like, what am I doing? Like, this is, it's pretty loose. Like, there's no training. And then we're in the warm up because we played South Africa. Well, when I played with these boys back in 2010, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, these guys, the South African team's like professionally warming up. We're kind of just doing our leg swings. There was absolutely no structure to the warm up. Yeah. We went out and put 19 points on me in the first 19 minutes.
I remember I was rooming with Gitz one time, and I had pretty long hair at the time. I said, Gitz, give me a haircut. I want to go fast. And so I said, mate, just whip it up real tight.
Mate,
on the side.
when you asked me, we came back. It was like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Let's get context out there.
Yeah, it's about 4 a.m. So I said, mate, give me a haircut. And so he gets the clippers out and he starts shaving up. And I was like, oh, that's all right, but go higher. And go higher. And I don't know where we landed, but we got to bed at about 5. And we woke up to our alarm going off because we had a team meeting. And I got into the shower and into the mirror. And I was like, what the fuck have you done? Like, we went way too high. It was like sort of between where it should have been and a mohawk, like somewhere like that. But we had no time to fix it. So I had to go down with my hat and hoodie on into the team meeting. You could see I'd had a fresh cut on the side. So they're like, take your hat off. And it was so bad.
Have you got a photo of this haircut?
I don't know if I had a photo of it when it was like but see, I was then going from there to my parents were doing like wedding renewals in Vanuatu after that. The one thing Mum asked was like, just don't come home with a stupid haircut. And I was like, Mum, I'm sorry, I've done it again.
In my defense, if you're like that with one eye open, it looked like it was blended perfectly.
What was your barbershop?
Jackson's, yeah.
Jackson. Yeah, so
used to operate a barbershop.
You didn't have a barbershop to go to when it was your time to.
Yeah, I should have had an apprentice all those years.
Could you cut everybody's hair in here? Obviously not mine, but you could.
Yeah, I used to do all the boys. I used to put a little list up and the guys would put their name down and they come.
He's had plenty of practice.
I even used to shave Lottie Takiri's shoulders. I did Bucky's Bota's hair in Toulon. I was trembling mess there. He's like, "Oh no, listen, don't fuck it up, eh? We're going on TV." I'm like,
Drew, question: best job you've done? Best kind of. Give us something. I know you did get some.
You're pretty consistent with me.
Yeah. I knew Giddy's cut. That was good. Ben Perkins, the old kicking coach, we used to have to dye his horseshoe, like bleach it blonde, and then whip it up as well. Lottie's shoulders and back.
All right.
Yeah.
We're going to do an episode in here where we'll give Bailey a haircut.
I'm happy for
you're not
you
allowed
to
to touch Tommy's.
I'm happy for you to touch the old grey mop.
Yeah.
We can do a good little job, little
I'll
trim,
do a
short
job
back
of
and
that.
sides.
I'll
Makes
grow
sense.
mine
Lower
out
the ears.
for the episode. You can get me going.
But yeah, Barbarians, fun week. Look, South Africa. With
Jeez, it made me nervous.
You
watching.
could chin your chest.
Oh yeah, my back. You could do my notcher.
And your shoulders.
Hey, it made me nervous watching those Springboks. Just getting that TRC feeling when you saw Cheslin running around and
Jeez, wasn't he looking sharp?
Oh God.
Not just like his footwork, but bumping people.
I know.
Yeah.
I just want them
He's
to
a
slow
player.
down. They just look like they're going too fast. Hey, it is time to chat some NHLs. And, there was the top 14 final. Swoop your boys, UBB. Bordeaux, they took on Toulouse.
Yeah, look, you know what? I'm not going to go into too much depth about this. You've got to celebrate the wins, but also you got to, feel the losses, and I'm feeling it. So, I'm finding it hard to find the words to tell you.
Well, you know what we said? We said it last week, didn't we, God? It's tough. It takes a special team to win the double.
Also, a lot of money paying world-class players to play in a world-class team. I mean, I'm sure Bordeaux spent a bit of money.
I was going
but
to say that.
come on, you guys fairly stacked.
Your one deal was more than both of ours put together. Remember, we said come to
Go away,
no, bro, I've
Matthew.
never been a marquee. I've never. Like, this is going to be my time. And you cashed in, and we're happy, but you just didn't win anything other than money, which is good. It's good now.
Says this bloke, tighter than a drum. Listen, mate, hang on a second. You're telling me
Yeah.
that my contract in Bordeaux,
Yeah, son.
carrying tackle
no.
bags,
Mate,
peeling
you want me to
oranges,
go there? You want me to go
I'm
there?
drinking a little bit of Bordeaux wine, was bigger than your and Drew's combined.
Okay, maybe not combined, but I know it was bigger than both of ours. I remember talking to your son. Don't do this.
What have we got
But
next?
anyway, went into extra time.
It did 39-33.
Yeah.
Bordeaux, they kicked a penalty
Yeah.
right on full time to take it into extra
Okay,
time. Yeah, they
Yeah.
did. I'll tell you that BLBRE, is he a player or
Oh,
what?
mate, he's incredible.
Jet boots.
Yeah, he's quick, eh?
But you also had, so him and Tamak went off early. They didn't finish the second half, so they both only got through half a game. So that's a big part of Bordeaux's game plan, because you had Pinot, who still managed to score another try. Like he scores them through. He's unbelievable, that guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just feel like they lost a bit of punch when they lost that other winger there.
Well, the other interesting sort of side to it is, Wallabies will rename another squad for the British and Irish Lions after this FIJI test, and maybe a Pete Samu might be brought in. Blair Kinghorn from Toulouse, he'll join the Lions. And I'm sure he's probably already on a plane after winning with Toulouse. So there's a couple of players that will sort of maybe make their way down under for the big Lions series as well.
So could Samu end up in that Wallaby squad?
I mean, he could, yeah.
Because he's
Yeah, I mean,
played
he's
very
signed
well.
to play in at the WARATAHs
Yeah.
next year, so he's eligible.
come on.
He's finished now, so
He scored the opening try for them, didn't he? Swoop.
believe so,
Yeah, played very well. Guys, we are running out of time, but I'm going to try and finish the show with something light. Myself and the main writer on the show, the team of writers on the show, we came up with a new game. We're going to try it. If it doesn't work, we bin it, and then we try something next week. The game is called Which Line Was It Anyway? A very famous TV show, Whose Line Is It Anyway?
yeah, we're just going to rip them.
Pretty much.
Perfect.
Except it's nothing like that show. It's just the headline. What I'm asking you to do is I'm going to say a quote that a Lions player has said during the week, and you need to guess
Okay.
which player it was
Ooh.
in the context.
I like it, Prof.
First person to how are we going to work this, Tommy? First person to jump in, or am I going around the circle? Go around the circle. All right, let's start with you, Adam Ashley Cooper. It's an amazing group and environment to be part of. We're the 4 best nations, the best players in the Northern Hemisphere. Everybody take a guess who said that.
Someone boring. Mac Hansen.
Okay.
I think it might have been Finn.
Finn Russell, Finn Smith.
Or I'm split between Dan Sheehan and Finn Russell.
Okay. Have you got an answer, Gits?
We're just waiting on which one Drew locked in.
I'm going to go Dan Sheehan.
Gits?
Finn Russell.
It was Henry Pollock.
Yeah, right.
This game's not really working. I get used to it, man. I've been getting slagged my whole life, my whole career. Who said that? I get used to it, man. I've been getting slagged my whole life, my whole career.
I'm going to go Finn Russell.
Finn Russell. Gits.
I'm going to go Mac Hansen with the man in there.
Mac Hansen.
I'm going to go a foreigner, James Lowe.
A ding, 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 James Lowe.
Swoop's on one.
Do you know why, Swoop? It was because he got announced as a former Kiwi, now Irishman. Lots of chat around.
Yeah, I thought that was shit from the ground announcer.
Yeah.
Yeah, Western Force.
Bit of heat.
Like, you're not in the contest. Fuck off. Like, don't sit there and, like, yeah, but, like, you know, like the banter from, like, you know, like a South African-born Scottish prop, like just having subtle little digs. Like, you're not in the contest. Like, don't bring yourself into it.
I am 100%.
Yeah, I reckon that's dog shit as well.
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
asked in a radio interview, they're saying, well, you know, we've got all these Southern Hemisphere people. How do you feel about that? I said, well, they went over there. They've now applied their trade there. They didn't get the opportunity here. They feel connected. We've interviewed the guys, Sione, Mac, like they feel as connected as anyone there. So why do we bring that up?
But also work their ass off to earn that, you know, that.
But tell me what international team doesn't, outside of probably Georgia and South Africa, like what other nationality doesn't have? Like we've got a bunch of like guys that have Pacific Island heritage and whatever and playing for us. Like, so, but we can throw stones at them, but then, you know, like we're doing it ourselves. Like, anyway, whoever that announcer was, flog of the week.
Flog of the
Bell
week?
end.
It's a,
Really?
we could get that
So
sponsored.
he
Flog of the
gets the Drew Mitchell Pork Chop Award.
Yeah.
I like
You
it.
know what I was thinking about actually?
How do we bring him into the
sometimes
contest?
I reply to some of our comments on YouTube.
Yeah, we've noticed.
Yeah. And like maybe there's a segment around that. Like which one just grinds me in that moment? It makes me reply.
All right. Yeah. Well, Drew Mitchell flog of the week. That's fantastic. Then we have to go get a perfect omelette from Chefy Boy. We have to feed the boppers and get those big gains in. It's obviously a man in the engine room.
I reckon Ellis Genge.
Yeah.
Ellis Genge.
I'm going to go friend of the pod, Schoolman.
Schoolman.
Okay. No, I think it's someone in the forwards, but a back row because he's more worrying about feeding the big boppers. I'm going to go with Earl.
It's the Scooey. It's the
Who
Shoey.
is it?
What?
Swoop dog, yeah. Dog. He's
You know,
on
which is-
two.
Which is worse.
He's
He
on
wouldn't have
two.
read
Should we just do
anything, any press or
Should
any
we just do
quotes.
a around the grounds just quickly before you get on to the next one?
Sure, you
He
want to do
would
the score
know
update?
only the players that we've interviewed that are in this Lions tour group, and he's winning. Like,
Yeah, but that's
Two,
why
hang on, we'll
Tommy's
do around
only
the
done
grounds. I'll do
questions
it.
with those
Boss,
players
if you don't
involved.
mind. Swoop 2, Drew 0, gets 0.
There is a cheeky bit of wafer in there. Then there is caramel all up in here and loads of chocolate. Now, if you guys don't have a clue, I'll narrow it down for you to a nationality. I'll see if I can do the accent. There's a cheeky bit of wafer in there, and then there's a caramel all up in here and loads of chocolate. Is that way off? Hey!
Okay, I'm going to double, maybe triple down on Finn Russell.
It's all right. You got the right place.
oh, I was thinking of some Ethiopian guy. Right, Hugh Jones, I suppose. I don't know.
Yeah, I've
Finn.
got to go Finn.
Hugh Jones gets back in.
Oh, what was he eating, by the way?
I'm hoping he was talking about food. Cheeky bit of wafer in there. Chocolate.
Yeah, no, I saw they had these special chocolates made up. I saw the Lions put something up there, but I
bit of a
just couldn't
sweet
remember who
tooth.
the player was.
Now, let's finish. With the caliber of players we have, we should be winning every game. If we don't, we'll get our heads absolutely chewed off.
Repeat that.
With the caliber of players we have, we should be winning every game. If we don't, we'll get our heads absolutely chewed off.
I think I'm going to go with Sione Tuipulotu.
Okay.
Mac Daddy surely deserves a quote.
Mac
Mac
Daddy.
Hansen.
I think Van der Fleer.
Has he done a lot of talking this week? Have you heard from Van der Fleer? The answer is Mac Hansen.
Go on, you goat.
A ding, ding, ding. Unfortunately, the team of writers they don't have a what do you call it? Tiebreaker.
Tiebreaker, yeah.
We'll
that's
make
right.
one up, Prof.
You want me to make one up?
Mate,
That was-
what did you say a couple of weeks ago? Outcomes. Sports about outcomes.
Okay.
We need a winner here.
Tommy, I'm going to finish the show. By the time I finish, look up another quote. You've got about 30 seconds.
I reckon we park that segment for future.
Oh. Every time. Yes, it is another big shout out to Guinness. Absolute pleasure having them on board. A product that we all enjoy thoroughly. Just a reminder, they are the official beer of the British and Irish Lions tour. And it's a lovely game for a Guinness. Let me say that. Very refreshing and enjoy every second of it. Conclusions and goodbyes. Good luck to the Mighty Reds on Wednesday. A reminder, you can watch along with us. Go to our website or go to our YouTube. Click the link and you'll be sitting there with us on Wednesday while we're having a good time. Also, another live show that we're doing is at the Felons Barrel House. Please get behind this. This is on the Thursday night in Brisbane. As I said, if you want to support the pod, get in there. First Thursday up in Brisbane. And all you British fans, all you Australian fans, come along, watch the show. It's going to be a great night out just to kick off our tour for the British and Irish Lions.
What a venue that is.
Oh, it's an amazing venue. So again,
we all
our
went
website.
up there to scope it out. It was great.
Just a really quick one. Australia A, the Wallaroos Australia A did a really good job against Samoa's national side down in Canberra through the week. Just in their preparation for the World Cup later in the year, but just a quick one on that. But we'll touch up on some of their preparations over the next few weeks as well.
Terrific. Thank you, Drew. Now, socials where you can find us at Kickoffs and Kick-Ons. That's everywhere. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family. And the final quote for the winner of the Who's Lion Is It Anyway?
It's on the screen here.
Tom Erskine. You are... Okay, so just so people know, Tom is currently looking up a quote and he's forgotten that his
Okay, I'm
laptop
going to lock in
is
Andy
hooked
Farrell.
up to
I'm
the
going to lock in
monitor.
Andy Farrell.
He's everybody could see what he was doing.
So good luck to the Reds, the WARATAHs, and Australia.
Go and bash the shit out of those Lions, boys.
Yeah.
Don't play expensive. Just right up the guts. Run over them. Fold them in half. What do you reckon?
Yeah.
Send as many as you can back home. That should be the game plan. If you want to talk about
Yeah, before the test. before the
centralized
test
program,
kickoff,
yeah, you want to talk about practice? Culmination.
So you're saying that if you want to do Australia proud, up the guts.
Straight down the chute.
Okay. We can do that. Yes, Thomas, I'm going to give you the microphone. Give us the last quote, please.
Okay, all-time Lions great said, "Let's be the best at everything. That requires no talent." Who said that?
All times Lions great. We're narrowed it down to about 10,000 people there. So if you could...
I'm going to go just someone that probably, played that way. So he'd like to see that type of play. I'm going to go Sam Warburton.
I'm Martin Johnston.
Martin Johnston, very good.
Paul O'Connell.
Paul O'Connell. The answer is...
It's Paul O'Connell.
Paul O'Connell.
Yeah, kidding.
It was on your fucking screen, mate.
No, was it? I
It
never
was.
saw
When
it. I
you
never saw
unplugged
it.
it. Said Paul O'Connell.
You know what?
Drew,
Celebrate.
give us one.
Look at this. Oh, I'll give you one. Cuckoo! Hiya! Fucking. You're kidding. That's another win for the swoop dog. I can't lose. See you later.
Oh, wow. That is the best video on YouTube. You know what you need to do now? You need to like and subscribe down there. Or if you want extra content, might be down there, you need to go up here or up here and get more of that gear. Thanks for supporting Kickoffs and Kick-Ons, and we will see you very soon.